Hello and welcomes back everyone, AnthWolf here with even more Pillars of Eternity. Where we last left off, we have finally left the endless paths of Old Nuria, and here we are. I'm actually in Cad Nuria, just outside the keep here. We couldn't unfortunately defeat the Adra or Adra dragon, whichever way you want to pronounce the crystalline formations. So I thought we'd leave that final boss till much later on in the game. I think I mentioned at the end of the previous video, but for myself it's been about a week since I last played the game, so you know me, I tend to remind I tend to, if I find the words, speak at the beginning of each video to more remind myself than to remind anyone else, because you're a smart bunch, and you've probably come from the previous video, so you know exactly what's going on. Looking at our journal here, we have all our current adventuring crests. We have to find more pieces of the ancient sword, which is obviously in the endless path somewhere. There's a couple of places we couldn't gain access to because I just didn't know how to do it, and there may be another part of the sword actually behind the Adra dragon, which we won't do till much later on in the game. We have the quest for Ada. We have to find the Saints' War battlefield. Obviously we need to get to know Durin some more. The Master below, of course, we'll never really manage to do that just yet. The Long Hunt, which is for Sigani, trying to find the Adra Arch in the woods, which we believe is more towards Twin Elms. And the Child of Five Sons, which is Palagina's quest, the broker a trade agreement in Twin Elms itself. So yeah, we'll continue those at some point, but what we're doing this video and in the future is through Death's Gate. It's the other main story quest, and the Leaden Key Acolyte gave us a vision that showed me mysterious ruins somewhere outside of Dyrford. The Leaden Key has sent operatives to find the site, though their purpose is unknown. And obviously our current objective is to travel to Dyrford Village, which we've never actually visited before. I'm fully rested up. Actually, that's a lie, I'm not fully rested up. So let's do that first. And trying to decide what bonus should we get. We'll take the bonus to athletics and constitution, why not? So our characters are fully recovered. And let's get on our way. Activate fast mode. Yep, that's perfectly fine. We'll take our standard party. And did we... I don't think we fully explored Stormwall Gorge when we went there the first time. I think we just found the ruins and that was it. So actually we're going to go there first before we head straight up to Dyrford Village, even though it's unlocked. Might as well get a bit more exploration. See if there's anything else in this gorge of interest. A supplicant has arrived from Dyrford Village seeking 850 coppers or an escort. Lole is assigned to an average adventure. Oh, of course, we have the scout. Well, that was stupid of me. I could reload my save now and pretend that this never happened, but I don't want to do that. I'm an honest guy. We've wasted 20 hours of, well, 40 hours of in-game time. Our characters will probably need to rest again. But I'm not going to edit this at all. You see my errors cause I'm only human. Let's go down and see our prisoner. See if they have anything to say and what options are available to us. Hello there. You're welcome. Actually, I wonder if we can speak to the steward about the spirit of Odd Nuria. We don't know about the Adra Dragon yet in this playthrough because we'd meet it and die, but the steward may have something to say about the old king.
I trust all is well. Please let me know if there's anything I can do to help.
I have some questions. Nope. Nothing new. Maybe the steward will have something to say if and when we defeat the Adra Dragon. Perhaps. Let's have a sip of tea while the loading screen's here. Now, one of these cells has a 5th rack in it.
Hail and well met.
Greetings, my lord. Come to visit the dungeons? Do you have any instructions for me? What do you want done with these prisoners? I don't need anything at the moment. So we could flog them. If we so wished. Ah, hello. Kasorik's not really in a speaking mood.
Hail, traveler.
I'm not gonna flog the prisoners, I'm not an asshole like that. So we release them. There you go. Maybe if we kept them in the prison for so long, you'd have something to say to us. Anyhow, so that's kind of a waste of 5 minutes. Anyhow, yes. I came back up from, I think it was level 15 of the Endless Paths. Let's just rest up again. I sold all of the Zorip miscellaneous goods that we found, all their weapons and armour. So obviously gained a little bit more currency. I restocked on camping supplies. And now, as I say, let's try once again to proceed. We paid all our hirelings today. Supplicant is away. How is our construction doing? Oh, did it get finished? News. Yeah, the Bright Hollow half was complete. Oh well. What should we work on next? We have the library, the curio shop, the artificer's hall, the botanical garden, and the lab. Well, sure. So it's going to take a day to complete. Let's have a look at this map. Yeah, we had these ruins which we also didn't manage to complete. I wonder if we could pop a head back in here, because we kind of know more of the Engrifian language now. Through the events of the tower within Heritage Hill. Yeah, it might be worth popping our head in there once again. This could be an episode where absolutely nothing gets done. I just realised this in my head. We're kind of just re-familiarising ourselves with what's happened in the world. But I'm exploring the possibilities, and I hope you don't mind. cylindrical hollow, scarcely wider than the shaft of a weapon, runs through the centre of this pedestal. The serpentine symbols and icons and engraved in the floor resolve into words in your mind. The warrior shall call forth 2 witnesses, and they shall take up positions upon the emblems that bear testament to the character of his soul. The warrior shall ascend the dais, soul vessel in hand, to undergo transference. Bearing his soul vessel and a weapon with a heart of Adra, the weapon may then approach the urn. In this way he shall fashion an arm worthy of his skill and ambitions.
Huh?
Okay then.
Of course.
Let's try
How
this
may I
again.
help?
What was the other symbol?
I shall.
Is it this one?
Huh?
The warrior shall call forth 2 witnesses, and they shall take up positions. The warrior shall ascend the dais, soul vessel in hand, and undergo transference. And a weapon with the heart of Adra. But we don't have a weapon with the heart of Adra, it seems. I wonder if we weren't supposed to give that weapon over to the lad in the expedition hall. Maybe I've messed up this entire event because we couldn't read this language at the time. Soul vessel in hand and undergo transference. You know, I can honestly say I'm not too sure, but maybe we'll find something in the future. I don't think there was anything on the lower level here. Is there anything? Have a quick dash over here with Balmung and have a look. Symbols here catch light from braziers. All honour to those who give themselves for the glory of AnthWolf. The pale stones around the room look dull and lifeless. Is there anything of interest? We can now read the language, which is certainly of interest. Oh, what about this one? Duty before self. And we've looked at this before. One of the orbs is missing, wasn't it? But it's hollow where one appears to have been removed. Let's have a quick look in
Sure.
here once again. Hello! Oh well. Shattered crystal crunches and tinkles underfoot. So it looks like we may either have to find a weapon to place in there, or actually that's where the weapon will appear. But whatever the case, it looks like we're still missing whatever we need. Which is a shame, but it's good that we can now read the language. Anyhows, let's continue exploring the Stormwall Gorge and see what else we can find around this area. We are quite more powerful now. We gained another level while within the Endless Path, so we may still encounter creatures that are tough, but we are a lot more stronger than we probably should be for this point in the game, just through all the questing that we did in Defiance Bay. Mind, hello. The way I micromanage my party, it probably doesn't help much anyway. We've encountered this person. Chewing on a piece of uncooked meat, a small Olin dressed in tattered leathers offers a mumbled greeting and waves his hand. Despite his pleasant smile, the upper right portion of his face is in a sorry state. An eye patch stitched with the stylized eyeball wrapped around his head, and his ear is a mangled remnant that twitches and spasms while the other ear perks up at your approach. Next to him is a splayed carcass of a deer that appears ripped open by a bear or wolf. You hear a gurgling rumble next to you. Sigourney places a hand on her stomach. Her eyes are on the carcass. Still fresh.
If this is your deer, you need a new game warden. Name's Heravius. Hungry? I can't eat all this. First catch of the day, help yourself.
What killed that deer?
One ornery Stelgar. Though looking at the deer's insides, it had a malformed but delicious heart, and would have been dead within the year regardless. Gallowayne chose a fitting end for this fine animal. Pardon me, I shouldn't pray with my mouth full.
What brings you here then, Olin man?
Other than the delicious venison, new trees to document, new animals to sketch, new sights to be seen. I've learned as much as I can from the druids of my circle. I'd rather wander and learn than take root and stagnate. So if you're traveling to Deerwood and need another set of hands, I'd welcome the safety of a group.
Go on.
I'm trained by the celebrants of Hawk and Ivy of the Fisher Crane tribe. I know more than my share of nature magic, and, well, I don't shy away from a good fight. I have business with the druids that live near Twin Elms. So long as we find ourselves there eventually, I'm happy to follow along.
Sure. You're welcome to join us.
Splendid! It'll be an honor to run with a pack for a change.
So we have a new companion. The question would be, who would we replace? Kana, maybe? I do like his chanting abilities, but... Depends what is it Heravius? Well, let's call him Hera from now on. I wonder what he brings to the party. As a druid, depending on what form he can take. He might be another melee type fighter. Like, who don't I really need? I kinda like my party as it is, unfortunately. We'll accept his assistance, but we won't take him right now. As I say, I do really like the party I have going. The way this game's going, and I'm not sure if I'll do it myself, but I'd be interested to see another playthrough, either like playing it myself and just seeing how it develops otherwise, like what other choices you can make. Looks like there is a path down here, which we could have probably reached, but we allowed the water to flow. Huh, maybe that's my bad. Maybe I shouldn't have opened those ruins just yet. I wonder if we can disable that. So a quick rush back over. Nope. Looks like that's the way it's going to be. Oh well. If there's anything hiding further in the gorge, we will probably never be able to discover it anymore. Palagina finished escorting the supplicant. So let us continue our journey to Dyrford Village then. Oh, I'm pressing cancel. I was waiting for the load screen to come up and I thought I'd crashed the game for some reason. Looks like the village has seen better days by just this image alone. Find someone in town who knows about the ruins.
Hey, Olaf, can I, talk to your, you know, your friend?
What is it about Isilmir? I'm right here, you know.
No, you're both great. It's just, well, I feel like I don't get to spend as much time with her, and she's just so funny. I mean, some of the things she says
Are not nearly as funny when you've been hearing them for 50 years.
Alof is 50 years old?
Yes?
Well, I suppose you are an elf, so... Huh. Yeah, you might be older than you look. Isilmir. I'm going to try and remember that name. I will forget it within a couple of videos, guarantee it, but... We have a temple dedicated to Barath, we have the mill. Oh, there's always a mill in a village. Drakugen Village, Inn. Trigill's Curry. What is a curry? I don't know that word. A grieving mother, which tells me that I must have to go speak to her for some reason. Winfrith's Arms and Armory, and Hendia's Apothecary. Ah well, since we're on this side of the water.
Sure.
Till we find her, keep your eyes peeled. Who are they looking for? Oh, you have a name. Us? We're just minding our own business. Who is Medref then? Let's speak to you. And let's organise our party in some sort of defensive manner, just in case you're looking for someone that we don't want you to find. An elf idles by the road, watching the village across the river. He nods to you as you approach, the cowl Figgis standing near him full silent. Greetings, friend. I've heard of you. Where is it you've been busy in Defiance Bay? I'm busy too and eager to finish my business and get back to the city. If you don't mind me asking, what business is that then? You haven't heard? There's a murderer on the loose. Said to have gone mad with grief and strangled a dozen healthy children with her own as was Hollowborn. We've come all the way from Defiance Bay to bring her to justice. She's here then? She's hiding out in the village. We'd go in after her ourselves, but the problem is she knows our faces. There's no telling what she'd do if she saw us coming. And then we'd like to avoid any further unnecessary bloodshed. Her name's Nefei. She's an Orlan. We want to get her out of town so that we can deal with her cleanly. She knows we're looking for her, but if someone were to convince her it's safe to leave... I'm not too sure about this. He lays a strong hand on your shoulder. A mad woman like that is everyone's problem, friend. Just keep an eye out. If you come across her, remember what I told you. I promise I'll make it worth your while. What did Nifra do exactly? She was responsible for the murder of all those babies in the Fine Spay, remember? Terrible thing. We'll make her pay alright. New task, cat and mouse. So we'll want to get her side of things, but if she has been strangling children, I'm guessing this is her, the grieving mother. Oh, I forgot. It's been so long since we've encountered more people who we can peer into the souls of. Let's pick up all these herbs. Is there any way we can go north? Not just yet. Golden celery. Let's have a word with you then. Renew in that surname. As you near, you feel a vibrant history contained in the essence of this woman's soul. You see this woman lounging on a large divan. She takes dates from an ornate glass bowl and stuffs them absent-mindedly into her mouth while she stares out the window. She is unkempt and half-dressed, and occasionally yawns, seeming bored with her surroundings. Her room shares the same unkempt look as it hasn't been cleaned in weeks. A layer of dust covers everything. Clothes and partly eaten food litter the floor, and the furniture is in need of upkeep and repair. A knock comes from the door to her chamber and she lets out a quiet grunt, ignoring it. She grabs another handful of dates and starts throwing them into the air, one at a time, attempting to catch them in her mouth. She frequently misses, the dates bouncing to the floor, forming a makeshift ring around the divan. The knock comes again and she jumps, missing yet another date, which hits her on the forehead before rolling away. She grunts and looks at the door, exhaling sharply through her nose. A muffled and distant yell comes from somewhere outside the room. She rolls over on her side, facing away from the door, and pulls a pillow over her head, trying to drown out the noise. She lies there for several minutes, eyes slowly closing as she slips into sleep. The door opens and someone enters the room, hesitantly making his way over the floor to stand by the divan. He reluctantly reaches out and touches her shoulder, shaking it gently. The pillow falls from her head and she turns to the man, a confrontational look on her face. "Mistress," he says, kneeling before her, "we need your help." The woman sighs heavily, rolling her eyes, and starts to stand. She grabs one last handful of dates and walks from the room, chewing noisily. Huh. And we have Octavian Swellwintus. You see a fallen log lying on the moss-covered ground. The surrounding woods are quiet, everything calm and undisturbed. A small bird lands on one end of the log, warming itself in the sun. This man emerges from the trees, moving quickly but not quite running. He places each foot with deliberate precision, making almost no noise. He jumps, landing on the log, and runs along its length. Only when he reaches the end does the bird take flight, startled, as if it didn't realize he was there. He jumps down from the log, landing next to a tree with a small branch jutting out from just above its waist level. He grabs the branch and pulls himself forward, giving him a short-lived burst of speed. He is coming to the edge of the forest, and buildings can now be seen through the trees. Sounds of life make their way through the air and to his ears. He leans forward, running to push his way through the tree line and onto the road beyond. He pulls himself up short and looks around, breathing heavily from exertion. He doesn't seem to find what he's looking for, and takes a place leaning on a nearby building. Several minutes pass and he smiles, pushing himself off the wall and walking out to meet a figure running up the road, breathing heavily and shaking its head. He informs the figure that he's going to have to try harder if there's any chance of beating him. He puts an arm around the other man's shoulder, reminds him that there is ale at stake, and says it's about time to pay up. Huh, okay. And finally, we have this figure, Vasily Raskolnikov? You see a Zorb gurgling gently as it falls to the floor, the victim of a small blade to the throat. A tall man in dark armour wipes the blade clean on his cloak before padding onwards towards the next guard. Another flash and the second Zorb is down, and the next, and the next. Finally, a scout spots him and raises a shout. Between one step and another, the man smoothly deposits the knife in his boot and draws 2 long swords, decapitating the closest Zorb in the process. He makes no sound but the sleek whistle of his blades as he passes through monster after monster, before one lodges in the skull of one particularly hard-headed specimen. Unable to break it free, he discards his other sword and reaches for his spellbook. A cone of flame erupts from his hand, boiling the skin of 3 agonized Zorbs nearby and causing the remaining to scatter. The earth shakes and spikes of rock begin to pierce the surface as a nearby Zorb high priest attacks. A moment too late, as the bespelled man moves unnaturally quickly from ground to ground, attacking the remaining Zorbs with sword and spell. Sweat burns his eyes as he conjures an enormous ball of fire, sending it screaming through the air towards the high priest and her remaining followers. Nothing but charred corpses remain after it passes. The man falls to his knees, panting, almost 80 Zorbs falling around him. Just as he moves to get up, the ground begins to shake once more. Twice. 3 times. Huge footsteps, and then he dives behind a rock spike, a returning volley of fire singeing his cloak. The Drake has noticed him. Let us step into the temple before we call and enter this video, and see if there's anyone we can speak to. Find out anything about the village of Dyrford before we actually cross the bridge into the village properly. And why is the temple segregated?
Hey.
Out with you! I already told you what...
I'm sorry. I thought you were one of those ruffians.
The old man has turned as you entered, his face is covered in bruises and his lower lip is swollen. Poor fellows, that looks painful. It's a sorry deed striking a priest.
How may I help you?
What happened to you?
I never saw their faces. Strange hooded men asking about those ruins. Cleoban Relag. Most of the brigands who come through here asking about the ruins are looking for a few ancient trinkets. But these people knew the name, and they were in a hurry. They wanted to know where Cleoban Relag was. I tried to keep it from them, but I couldn't hold out forever. I don't know what they were up to, but it can't be good.
That does sound like the Leaden Key, doesn't it? Is there something else I can help you with? What can you tell me about Dyrford? Folk here tend to keep to themselves, as they do in most towns this deep into Deerwood. They're suspicious of travellers, but with all the brigands and refugees moving through the area, who can blame them? Can you tell me about your temple and about Barath? Barath is the most universal of all the gods. He oversees portals and cycles of all kinds, even life and death itself. Under Barath, an ending is merely a passage to another beginning. Barath has many representations across time and across cultures. Around the Deerwood you'll commonly see it depicted as the Pallid Knight or the Usher. The Glenfarthans however know it as Bumen Iancu. What can you tell me about the Pallid Knight? She is one of the youngest manifestations of the Wrath, but a familiar one nonetheless. Stories describe her as a gaunt knight in black armour with black eyes, black hair and milk-pale skin. She demands an impossible toll from travellers who have tarried too long on her lord's road. Some challenge her only to slay themselves in the process. And Yusha? Kith have written stories, songs and poems about Yusha for centuries. Sometimes he's folk, sometimes dwarf, and sometimes merely a walking skeleton. He never speaks, but he guides the way to death and the next life. He also creates the circumstances of the wayward to stumble into their own graves. What about the Glenforthans? It means life and death and life respectively. You see them as two skeletal figures, one male and one female. Explorers have found them carved opposite one another in doorways, but I know of no particular legends that speak of them. Thank you. So about these ruins, I hope you don't take offence, but I want to ask you about them as well.
The Glenfartham tribe that guards the ruins will kill anyone who trespasses there, and they'll retaliate against us too, if history is any indication. We've had too many fortune seekers stir up trouble of late. If I'm to tell you, I'll need to know your reason for wanting to go.
A dangerous plot appears to be unfolding there. I have to try and stop it.
If that's the case, then we may already have trouble headed our way. I'll have to take you at your word. You'll find Cleoban Relag here. Whatever trouble you find there, please end it quietly and try to stay out of the ruins.
Thank you. Farewell. So they've marked it on the map. Ah. Cleoban Relag, eh? And Glenforthans guard it. Does your acolyte have anything to say? Talk to Beamar. No one trusts me with anything more than lighting candles. Yeah, that sounds like an acolyte's job. Whew. You'll also notice I have difficulty pronouncing my R's and W's sometimes. Running tends to be one of the ones I catch more commonly. I apologise for that. It's been an issue for me ever since I've been young. So especially in games like this when I have to read out a lot of words, it can be difficult for me sometimes. Can we go? Nope. How about this north exit? Or maybe we need to go this way. Yeah. Looks like we actually need to take the northeast pathway. For the village looking as it is, the bridges crossing into it are certainly, looks like, well designed. Maybe that's just me. Anyhow, I think this is probably a perfect point to end this video before we enter Dyrford Village. Before we head on to the ruins, I think we'll have a walk around, get to know people. Maybe have a drink of ale in the inn. And basically just mingle with the common folk and see if they have any quests or any stories they can tell us. So, this is AnthWolf, and I hope you've all enjoyed, and I hope you all take care. I will see you for more Pillars of Eternity as we continue the series. Until then, take care. Bye bye now.